All right, in this video, I want to talk about a project that I will be putting together in a RV park that I'm already in, but they have extended the size of the RV park itself. They have added, I do believe, something like 20 different spots in there. I think it's 20, but they said something like 4 or 5 of them is going to be like temporary, like people come there for a week or two, up to a month, short term. And there are at least 16, he said, that's going to be like long term. It's going to stay there for like a whole season, like 3 months and plus, maybe even over a year. And I need to get internet to them. And I came up a different way to get internet to that particular location. And the reason why I came up with it is they're like all in a bunch. It's not like it's really spread it out. It's like I can put a transmitter, say, in the middle and just branch out a matter of 200-300 feet in each direction, and I can hit each one of them. It's almost like a parking lot. It's just lined up so nice and even that I'm going to put one CPE over there that will receive all the internet enough to feed all the RVs in that section. Actually, it's going to be able to feed a little bit more than that. I always like to put that little overkill just in case I need all that power and speed over there if everybody picks the high speed package. The worst scenario, and if it never reaches that, then it will run smooth. And even if it does reach that maximum that they want to have over there, still got that little bit of cushion to still be able to handle all the demand of the speeds that they will be requiring over in that area. The CPE, I have not decided exactly which CPE I'm going to use. It's probably going to be a Gen 2, which is going to give me, I think it's 450, I do believe is what it says it will do. I haven't figured out exactly which radio that I want to use yet, but it's going to be a Gen 2, and the traffic speed is like 450. But the switch that I'm going to use is just a unmanaged switch, and that will be this one right here. I wanted something just plain and simple, plug and play and just go. All I need is something that will receive the internet on a CPE and be able to distribute it out to all the sites. This is 16 port. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to get 16 to use because one of them has to be the receiving. But that will give me 15. So I'll put the CPE into 15. So 1 through 15 will be lined up with the numbers on the RV themselves. It's like D1, D2, D3, right on up to D20, I do believe it was. That way I can uniform it a little bit. So D1 will be in 1 and D2 in number 2 and so on. And if I get maxed out on this 15 ports that I'm actually going to be able to use, I'll just throw me a 5 on top and be able to get that last one. The router that I'll be using, I'm going to use a M2, Nano M2, as I've done in the past, to transmit Wi-Fi to the RV. As if you watched in my previous videos, that I have used a Loco M2 and programmed it as a access point, and use it on the frequency that the uh, laptops and all your mobile devices, you know, use cell phone and TVs and all that on the frequency that it will work on them. Same as a hotspot in a coffee shop. Then I'm going to run a wire from a box that this will house in, which will be, let's see here, get the wire out of the way. I'm going to house it in this here. This is going to be the main distribution box of everything, control box. The CPE will be up on a pole, and it will receive it in here. There's a power supply and everything will be in this box. And then I will run Ethernet wire. Yeah, 1,000 feet of cable here that is direct barrel that I can actually run out of that box straight down and then bury it straight to each RV power post that they have, the post that has the meter, the power meter and all in it, that where they plug the RV in. And as I mentioned, they have it set up like a parking lot. You know, you got each line that separates each spot. Then you got that one white line that just separates this side and this side. Well, this power box here is going to be mounted right on that white line per se. And I can run all the white wires from that box down and to this one, run another one down a little further, this one. It'd be like one trench that I got to dig and just tap off each one that way. Then I can go same the other direction. Then they got some that is like on the other side a little bit, so I can go down that way and cross over to a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 on that direction. So pretty much it's the box is going to be here. It's going to strip it out this way, feeds like 5 or 6 or so this way. Then it's going to feed 5 or 6 this way. But about halfway down this way, it comes off and has a 4 or 5 this way. So I can dig a trench, long one, and then one this way, and just run all the wires and stub them up to each of the pedestals where the power supply is on each RV. And then I'm going to mount a box on each pole. Not particularly this one, it's a little bit smaller, but it's still going to have my lock on it like this, where I can put a terminal on it that to be able to lock the box. But the Loco M2 is going to be in the box next to the RV, and the power that will feed it will be coming from the pole that this is actually mounted on, right on the other side. One reason that I want to use the Loco M2 is because I can remotely control it. And also it has traffic shaping and all that, which will, in the WISP software, will control the speed. And also I can log into it remotely and change the password. So when I set this up on, say, D1, they are there for 3 months. They say, hey, we're leaving. We no longer need Wi-Fi. I disable their account. And then somebody else moves in. I can sit right here, as long as I got internet, and be able to log into WISP, set up a new account, log in, change the password for the new client, and I don't have to drive that 3-hour round trip to go up there and do anything. As long as it's got power, I have access to it. That's one of the main reasons why I want to set this up this way, so I can do it remotely. Just go up there and just install all of them, regardless if somebody's in that spot or not, and be able to have it ready for somebody to move in, whether it is 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, year, 2 years, whatever it may be, I'll be able to control it from here. And if this works, which I don't see any reason why it should not, I know the uh, Loco M2 works very well because I had one sitting on a pole that is about 2 feet, 2.5 feet out of the ground, and I mounted it and pointed it directly to the back end of the RV. I stood in front of the RV where the signal would have to go through the whole RV, and it was like a 40-foot RV. It was big enough for it to have 2 air conditioners on top. And I stood in the front of the RV outside, and I got the full speed that the client's supposed to have. So if I can stand there in front and the transmitter is all the way on the other side and it's going through the whole RV, they'll get their speed inside of the RV with no issue because the signal that I was getting had to go through the whole RV. They're inside, so they should have just as good or equal to or even better signal than I had. That was doing some testing, so I know if this would work or not. Because he told me a few months back that he's going to expand, and I said, well, what can I do to make it easy? Can I just pretty much like the big companies go in there and put one main branch and put one hub and be able to just branch out from this hub and just branch out to each individual lot? And I came up with this, and I tested some things of installing some other RVs, testing the Loco M2 to see if it will transmit like I want it to if I put it in a box, and it worked fine. I would put the Loco M2 just right there on the pole itself, but I don't want it exposed, even though it is made to go outside, but the power supply is not. And plus, people going by there and messing with it, I don't want that either. So I put a box, and the M2 will be in it, and I will put it on the opposite side of the, usually the poles are like 6x6. So I'll put it on the opposite side of, let's see, I I'll probably put it on the same side of the pole that the RV is, and then when I put the Nano in there, it will be pointing out towards the door, so it will be pointing towards the RV. I was thinking about putting it and pointing it towards the back and put it on the other, but that means it has to go through the the 6x6 and all that. I want to minimize everything between the transmitter Loco M2 and the RV, and that's the best way to do it, is have it so when you open this box it's actually facing you and it's facing the RV itself. So the power supply being there, and I'll have a 3-foot weatherproof pigtail, little drop cord that I found on Amazon. It's 3 foot long and it's made for outdoor use. And I like it has these slots like this, so I can just open up and slide the wire in. I don't have to drill no holes. The smaller box of this one does the same thing. So I can put the PoE, I can put the CPE, or the AP actually in this case, since it's reversing the role of the Nano M2. I can put all of it in there, put that little drop cord right up in there, and plug it in inside and take it and run it around and plug it into their own power supply that's on the pole. Since they do have 115 volts plug GFI on that pole, I can plug it right in there. That's what I got planned. I've tested the equipment in all directions, like set up a Loco M2 that did not go through a router X, even though in the software I have it set up that the traffic shaping for it to use the router and the CPE. I tried to see if it would work if I just put a CPE that has traffic shaping capabilities in it, which is the Loco M2. And the reason why I chose that is because 2 gigahertz transmits a lot further than the 5. So I want something that they can stand outside of their RV and walking around, or if they sitting outside in nice weather and having a hot dog cookout or cooking out on the grill, whatever they may be doing, their devices will still be able to connect to their Wi-Fi that they are purchasing from us. Now, of course, I could use 5 gigahertz. It would be faster. But the M2s, they will do like 80 to 100. And no package that I have, residential, is even that speed. It's under it. The maximum I have, I do believe, is 60 megabits per second download. So it will be able to handle it. So there's no reason to go 5 gigahertz trying to get that maximum speed when the M2 will actually do it. And plus the benefit, it gives me longer distance. That's what I got planned of stripping into that new section of the RV park. And hopefully it will do what I think it will do, because since the M2s will do what I know I wanted it to do, because I've already tested them on others, I was going to do the Air Cube, but I've tried them without the router and just put it into the account of the WISP, and it didn't control the speed. Sometimes it did, sometimes it did not. And I like, no, that's not what I want. I want something that's going to control that speed every time that it is set up in somebody's account. And I started looking into the Cube in the firmware and the settings and all that, and I found that there are no traffic shaping feature in there to be able to set whatever speed you want at the time right now that I'm making this video. Now, new update of the firmware, that may become a thing, but right now it is not. But the M2, it has that feature in it. In the advanced features, all the way down at the bottom, you click and you can set your speed. Now, I don't go in there and ham in the information that way. I just attach the Loco M2 in their account, and whatever package they have, it automatically programs it to their speed. So we will be going out and start setting this up piece by piece. I got to get the RV park owner to get me a power supply for my distributing box, which is not going to take much power at all. Only thing it's going to be feeding is the switch, and it was like 12 volts, like 1 point some amps, I think. And see what else I'm going to have in there. I'm going to have some kind of fan in there in case it needs to be cooled. But I don't know if that switch is going to get hot enough. I'm going, under stress, it may, but it says it's supposed to be very, very cool running system. Even under maximum, I think it says 32 gig transfer, it's supposed to be able to do. So we will see if it actually will need any kind of cooling system set up in it or not. Now, some of my, especially the modems from our backhaul, some of them have been getting hot because all this humid and the heat index and all. The temperature has been reaching like 97, 98 around here, and the heat index has been hitting the triple digits. I think the highest I've seen so far is like 112. And the equipment, even our equipment, is designed for like 104 degrees. And sitting in that box, sitting in the sun, some of them, direct sun, it cannot get rid of its heat, and it will reboot. And it seems to be the case for the RV part that I've been working on, that it's been dropping out, because the only thing that is consistent is it's like 8, 9 in the morning until about 5 or 6 in the afternoon. What is the same between them hours? It's getting hot. At nighttime, roughly say 7 o'clock until about 7 in the morning, we have no issue of it actually dropping out unless our backhaul provider is actually rebooting the modem because they're doing some updates or they're doing their maintenance or whatnot. That's when they do it. So it may drop out then when they turn the line off. And plus they're upgrading their equipment so they can provide faster uploads, which that's going to be fantastic because the biggest they can have right now with giving you 1 gig down, I do believe you get like 35 or 40 megabits per second upload max. So if that's the maximum now, and they said they want to increase it, hopefully it be symmetrical, just like fiber. If you are paying for 300 down, you get 300 up. That'll be fantastic. Now, if they do that, they said it's going to be 1 or 2 years to get it all stripped out. They said they were doing that when the heavy flu season came through, and they pretty much put it on the back burner. But they have resumed of upgrading their equipment so it could be able to do faster uploads. And if they increase the uploads like that, I'm going to do the same thing for our clients. I'm going to each package. If they're paying for 20 down, they're going to get 20 up. Because I've already done the math with the biggest package to the smallest package. If I do that, it will handle it. Because as it is right now, the maximum I've seen in any RV park, which is the biggest one, is the one that I'm in myself. Last 4th of July, it finally reached 100 megabits per second download. It was going like, it used to be like 75 and 80 max. And I was sitting there 4th of July, and it was sitting there like 80, 85. And I'm like, hey, more people are on it. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I start seeing it hitting 108, 109, 92. It stayed there pretty much until 7, 8 o'clock. And then it kind of died down a little bit. But it started hitting 100 megabits per second. No other park has done that. No other park is that big. Plus, the one I'm in, I have one Edge Router X that's feeding basically 2 RV parks. It's the park that I'm in that has 50 spots. And then somebody built a small RV park right on the other side of the fence, literally right on the other side of the fence with 12 spots. And I'm like, they don't have an office. So it'd be a really pain in the, you know what, to get power in there somewhere and be able to set up a AP to just feed that one. Then I found out by asking the owner who owns the fence that separates the two. The owner of the RV park that I'm in said he's the one that put the fence up and he's the owner. I said, can I put a pole on the corner here and be able to feed this RV park? He says, go ahead. So I did. So I ran, I thought it was like 110, 112, but after I measured, it's like 160 some feet that I had to run to put up a second AP, and it fed that RV park. So them 2 RV parks together is the biggest that I have on one Edge Router X, and that's the one that's peaking out at 100 to 105. So if the maximum they're doing is 100, 105, and if I upgrade the upload to the same as what they have, well, it's going to be about the same because very few people actually doing any uploading. But either way, it will work. So what they get download, they will get upload. And I had some ask me if I can increase the upload. And I said, if you get a bigger package, the upload actually will be increased. I said, I have to design it that way because that's what we get. I can't just up, I don't have enough bandwidth of upload to really hand out that much right now. I have 300 down and they give me 10 megabits per second up, which goes about 11 or 12. They give that buffer. And I really can't give out that much because if I give it out like maybe 3 or 4 people and I give them now like 1, 2, and some of them 3. If I have like a handful, 5 people, and they just happen to be there at the same time and using the upload, well, that interferes with the flow with everybody else that's actually downloading. Because if it's downloading, it's got to send information back to tell it to wherever they're coming from to send more information. It's got to have two-way communication. And if one way is really just saturated, it will affect the other direction. But if they increase, I've heard 3 or 4 people say, and this is workers, technicians, that has come out and worked on the equipment because we had issues. They all 3 said the same thing. That's what's going on. They didn't have a time frame. They said 1, 2, 2.5 years. It should probably be ready to go. That would be wonderful to be able to just change the packages and give them faster uploads. I'll just send out a massive email to everybody and say, we've upgraded you, whatever you have down, now you have up, so you can upload. And that's going to be real good deal for some because they actually work from their RV. They upload massive size of files, and they said, I wish I had faster upload. So they brought the fastest package I have to get the maximum upload. And they said that made a big difference of getting their work done. So if I can increase and give them 60 megabits per second upload, if they got the 60 down, that'll really make them happy. But that's just a matter of time of when I get it, so I can actually pass on the upload. But that's what I got planned. Hopefully this week. I have one customer that I installed a TV antenna. He said on the 4th of July when he was there, it was picking up to channel 3.1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all, and 6.1, 2, 3, 4 and all, which is from Wilmington area, which is roughly about an hour drive. I think it's like 53-minute drive. But from their towers, he said it won't pick it up anymore. He said the antenna hadn't moved. He said he's rotated the antenna different directions. It does not have a motor on it. He has to go around and turn the pole. He said for some reason it will not pick them up anymore. I'm going tomorrow and look and see if I can find anything that has got in the way. There's been construction going on, so maybe something in the area. Maybe I have to relocate his antenna. Maybe it has to go up. Maybe it has to go in front of his RV. I don't know. And I also have two clients to install this week as well. And I'm going to try to do them Monday. Let's see, I got the box. Yeah, I'm going to try to do them Monday. If not, I'll wait until the cubes and the new CPEs, that I switched over to, which for like $1 more, and they work from it just makes the connection so much better. I really don't even have to have the last one I put in. I don't even have line of sight, and it works. It won't give me the 85, 95 megabits per second down, but it's giving me somewhere around 45 and 50, and it's shooting straight through an RV to get to the AP, and it is just, the signal is like negative 77 and negative 71 on the channels, send and receive, but it's giving me a solid 45 megabits per second every time I run a speed test. And it don't matter if I use Wi-Fi Man or I use speedtest.net, it's always between that 45 and 50 um, every time. And I stream 4K video on it, two of them at the same time, and run a test, and it was still giving me something like 30 something megabits per second download when I was running two 4K videos. And they don't need but 25 megabits per second on their package. So it's going to be twice as much as what they actually need. And I've asked them, they've been in there for about a week and a half, and I asked them how's it working. They said it works great. They said we're running both of our TVs, we're sitting on our cell phones and a laptop every now and then. Works great. So these radios work a little bit better. The band, the channel width is a little bit, the beam on it is a lot narrow than the other ones I've been using. The only downfall about these is I can adjust them to point this way or this way, but there's no adjustment up and down unless I actually tilt the pole that it's on. That's the only way. Unless I buy the mechanical part that goes between the CPE and the pole that will allow me to adjust this way. But I don't see where I'm going to need that in the RV parks. But so far, it's working better. And the PoE that comes with it is powerful enough, actually a little bit more than enough to feed the CPE and the air cube. So I just buy the CPE and I buy the cube, buy the box, and it feeds all. I don't have to buy the CPE and buy the cube and then buy PoE to feed both of them. The PoE that comes with the CPE is powerful enough. It's a 12 watts. So it works great. But that's what I got going on this week. And I'll try to make some videos of it and let you see the new radios I'm putting up. And as I distributed this out and putting this together, I'm going to go put the box and probably just go ahead and run the wires from this box down the pole and out to each hub of each spot in the new section of the RV park. I still got to figure out exactly how I'm going to get the Ethernet wires into this box. Do I just drill a hole and put rubber garments in it so that the wire just slips through? Do I put the kind in there that you can stick through? It's like Carflex, that you can stick it in there and put a nut on it and it actually holds the wire in, just like I did the wire on my solar panels on top of my RV, where I can stick the wire in there and tighten up the nut and it actually watertight seal it. I'm going to need at least 16 on that plate on the bottom of that box. I'm going to have to see them connectors I got for the box where I run the solar panels and try this Ethernet wire in it and see if it's going to be tight enough. If so, I'll just buy another bag of them and I should be okay. Just drill a small little hole to get that in there and go with it. Because I got one of them bits somewhere that is like a pyramid little thing. The further you drill in, bigger the hole gets. It's got multiple sizes that it will drill. I can't remember the technical name for it, but I got one somewhere. That should be enough. And then I got to get the 115 volts into the box And put me a little power strip in there so I can actually feed multiple different things. The fan if I need it, and the PoE for the CPE, and the router itself. So we will see how this plays out. Hopefully it will go together and smoothly as I have planned for it to go. And if it works, I just may do this same thing in other RV parks that's got a cluster of spots for RVs together. Now, of course, everything has pros and cons. The pro on this, if I distributed all these RV spots, 16 of them, like I normally do, a pole, CPE, a box, a router, and all that, if I did that on each one, compared to doing it this way, it is saving over $600 of cost to deploy all this. So that's $600 that I can save by doing this with one receiver that was distributed out to all. Now, the con part is, if that CPE goes, that means everybody without internet in that section. Everybody's out. So I have to have some kind of CPE that I can replace that very easily. Just go up there and take the pole down, program one, put it back up, and get everybody going. I have to pretty much keep that in stock, which is not that really expensive. I think the one I was looking for is like $65. So it's not really much of a bad downside of it. It's, and if the switch goes belly up, everybody's out again. And these switches are not that expensive. They're like 60, I think it's like $59.99. I think it actually was. It's on sale. So basically $65. That's not something that I'm going to have on hand, but there's something that I can do very quickly and easily to be able to fix that. And most likely, not all 16 slots is going to have somebody actually in it at any given time. It's going to be like 4 or 5 here, then 4 or 5 here. These going to leave, 2 or 3 of these leave and come over here. It's never in this area is going to be full time. Even if it is, I can put another transmitter right in the middle and just let everybody use the Wi-Fi temporarily until I get the new equipment. I've done that before. Like I needed some radio, and I'm like, well, here's free Wi-Fi that you can use since everybody's paid, and I'll just crank the thing up so it's fast enough for everybody to be able to use. They used it until I got the equipment in. I replaced the equipment, shut it down, and all their stuff reconnected back, and all worked fine. There's a will, there's a way. You just have to put things in place in case something goes belly up. But I do believe this is going to be more efficient, and it's going to save a lot of money of putting it together. So I'll make all the videos I can, digging all the trenches to put the wire in, and getting the switch put in the box, mount the box, get the power to it. Good thing is, the wall that I'm putting this box on has two, maybe 3 breaker panels that has a lot of dead spaces in there that we can get power from. So that's going to be very easy to do then. I just say, hey, I need, a 15 amp circuit here, and just put me a wet plug right here beside this box, and I can put a cord out from the bottom and be able to plug it in that way. If I have any need to kill power, I just open that and kill power and be able to work on it. So we're going to see how this actually comes out, and hopefully it will work the way I want to. I've already got a fan that I'm thinking about putting in there that is USB controlled, and I have a USB controlled thermostat. Here is the fan that I'm planning on putting in there. She's a good size fan. She's let's see, 4 by 4 by 1 inch deep, and this is designed for like a laptop because it's got the rubber feet on it, so you can sit it on a table like this. Two of them, say side by side, and sit your laptop right on top, and it will push the air up in it and keep it nice and cool, especially if you're gaming or something like that. That the CPE is just going to be running almost max if you put it on turbo, or if you overclock or whatever. It's a real good fan. It's got its feet on it for that purpose. Then I have the controller for it. Very simple little USB controller. There's the controller temperature wise. You've got different temperatures on it. That would be, let's see, 84, 86, 92, 96. And you just push the button and set it to the temperature you want. USB, let's see if this is long enough to do this without actually pulling much out of it. You'll get in the camera. Let's see if we can see this. See that? So you can set the temperature that you want on all the time or off, whatever temperature you want. And then you plug in the USB device, that in. Now on this end, there's another hole right there you see. That it's the temperature sensor is not actually in this box. It's actually a temperature probe that you actually plug in. And you see this part right, let's see. Yeah, this part right there. Yeah, that part right there that you see is the part you plug in. And that's the sensor. The big one is the sensor. And I can put that anywhere. I can zip tie that to the top of the box. So while hot air rises, it will turn on as soon as possible when that box gets warm. If it gets to that point where I will need to put a fan in there or not, you just need to put some kind of a USB power supply, which is going to be very easy. Just go get me a cell phone charger that has at least 1 amp. Whatever this fan is, I have to be sure I get whatever amperage, whatever that says it is. Don't even know if it says on the outside of the box. No, it just says what size USB powered. I have to read the pamphlet that comes in it that tells me how many amps it will need to run. But set that up if I need it to cool it off in the box. And when I put that in, I have to figure out where's it going to pull the air in and where is it going to put the air out. It's a solid metal box. The only thing it has on it is the metal plate. This thing is heavy as hell for what? The thing's got to be at least 20 pounds. The only opening there is this plate. So I got to design this somehow, if I put a fan in it, that it will distribute air in and out. Now this is where I'm going to put all the wires, put little holes in here, put them connectors and get all the wires. Maybe put it all like all the wires on this side somewhere, and or put them in the middle if any way possible. And put some, maybe when I put this plate on, put some kind of thick washers that will keep this plate off the bottom but then it's supposed to be watertight and all, so it's going to kind of have to be a unique way of getting airflow through this or around it to keep it cool if it gets overheated. That is, if it does get overheated. I don't know if it will or not, because the components that's going to be in there, PoE, the switch, that's it. So I don't think I'm going to have to put a fan, but we're going to find out. But that's what I got planned for this week, and I'm going to try and make and capture all the video I can of putting this together so you can see how it goes together and how it works or how it doesn't work. And that will be determined by time. So I appreciate you coming by, and please hit that thumbs up and hit the share button, and if you hadn't already, hit the subscribe button. It helps out the channel to make it grow so it will be distributed out to more people that just perhaps may be looking for some kind of video like this to help them to get their business started of doing a WISP. Or if they say, well, I wish I can do it a different way instead of putting a CPE for every RV spot, or maybe they're doing a campground. This would be ideal. Like if you got a row of campers over here, you put one CPE receive and just branch out and feed all them, and do another one in this row, another one in this row. Pretty much just like the cable company does. Has one line come in, they got a hub, and just branch out there, run down and run to another hub and branch out to all them. Like I said, everything has positive and negative about all of it. It's just which one outweighs the other. So hit the thumbs up, hit the share button, and hit the subscribe button. Don't have to put the bell notification on so you be notified every time I put up a video. Just at least subscribe, so when you log in, you'll see if you're on the desktop, you'll see a little red dot beside our name indicating there is more content that has been put up that you haven't seen, so you can click on it and watch it. Because I know if you follow too many people and turn the bell notification on your phone, especially if you have it on there, it goes ding 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 all day long. So just subscribe and log in and watch it later on your time. We will be making videos as much as we can about this new way of laying out, because I haven't found anybody else on YouTube has done anything like this. It's usually every client has its own CPE, and that's the way it works. This is going to be one CPE that's feeding multiple clients. So it should work. All my testing says it will. So we will see. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And like I said, please thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that